Okay, good morning. I'm happy to share with you some of the moments when I speak about gang stalking that are just normal. You know, when I'm trying to have dinner and I notice something out of the sorts or whatnot. Yesterday, I noticed that my battery in my vehicle, and I've got a pretty good vehicle. I am pretty grateful for a reliable source, for a reliable source of transportation. For knock on wood, less minimize problems as far as my vehicle goes. And it's getting old. I need a new vehicle soon. I'm going to need a new vehicle. The problem is I can barely afford to live, let alone put money into anything. Um, this is the way the targeting program works. They sabotage a life that is worthy, that is and all of us, all of us, our lives are gifts, and we all deserve to live freely, you know, uh, without some sort of hindrance that these perpetrators use, that they have developed this technology and whatnot. Now, my car battery, this is about the fifth time I've seen, stuff on my terminals on my battery. I've had it looked at, I don't know how many times now. That is very unusual for a battery to just keep going bad. Now, I have had recall. Um, and let me tell you what happened with the recall. I got a postcard in the mail, right? One time I had contacted them, I had reached Toyota. The other time I contacted them, I reached Life Alert. Which is interesting. I think it was the same number both times. So these perpetrators redirect the calls. This has been mentioned several times, probably in my videos and through other sources, because most of my information that I take in, that I consume now, that I'm influenced by, is all regarding the targeting community. I live in a whole different world than you guys, depending on who's listening. The When I took my vehicle to Toyota, I was pretty much abused there. They told me that I completely disregarded the fact that I was there because of a battery recall, right? The warranty, da 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 da, whatever. I mean, who knows if it was a hoax or not? That's the hard part about this. Told me that I had a crack in my water pump that was going to cost me almost $800, right, to get fixed. And anybody listening who understands vehicles, at least to some extent, would realize that that is a pretty high hike in cost for a water pump. Now, I took it to my reputable source, and they, of course, told me that there wasn't any problem with the water pump, and obviously wouldn't have costed that much to get fixed. Um, so then, for some reason, I was targeted at the dealership and also told that this is some hot lava, which I understand. I understand it is, but we need to expose this no matter what. This needs to come out. It needs to get coughed up. I don't care how, it just needs to be. And obviously, they weren't willing to help. So, if you have any suggestions on what my next step is, what I should do, um, I need my vehicle as a reliable source. I need it for work. Okay. So, if you can help me in any way, I would appreciate uh, you leaving any kind of comment or any suggestion, because I'm tired of getting this looked at. And I mean, nobody has that many battery issues with their car, do they really? Anyway, so here's kind of a little clip from yesterday of me kind of talking about what's happening. Having my dinner. My kids had to stop over. And this is unrelated to my. They were doing an errand. It's December the 7th, or at least that part of it. I'll just eat my dinner. Well, I got a stalker in the church parking lot, hanging out. I'm just gonna keep eating. Good for them. They must think they're doing the Lord's work, twisting things around. Bad guys are making out, and the good people are turned bad. This is how this works. This is how this organized crime, cabal, whatever it is. I'm so tired of mentioning. I'm so tired of living life by their rules. Obviously, you can't see this in my video till I learn how to share. But he's moving now. He's rolling. It's 4:45, and I did show you my clock. It was 4:44. The running time. Total running time is 1 minute and 20 seconds as of right now. But yeah, he's exiting the parking lot. So it looks like an SUV or a van, dark color. I got their lights on. It's just starting to get dark here. Usually around 5 o'clock. It takes all kinds. They're doing the Lord's work, just spying on somebody else, just spying on somebody through their windows, or listening in, or checking my text messages. It should be private, or should be confidential, or should be allowed. I should be allowed to speak to my friends freely, however I like. My other friends are targeted too. Theirs is a little different than mine. Oh, by the way, I just want to mention my status because I know I'm going down in this, and I'm trying. I went for a walk run today, but it's more walk than run. You know, I'm 47 now, but I was a pretty good, damn near good athlete, especially being picked last in all my bullied years, my younger years of being bullied. You know, I was bullied all my life. But let's talk about sports. You know, when you're the last one picked, you know, in the schoolyard pick, it's hard, right? So I developed into my physical self a little bit later in life. You know, I became a gymnastics coach, and I did boxing and did a boxing workout, did a lot of running, a lot of squats, a lot of sit-ups, a lot of everything, you know. And that has deteriorated because if they can't steal one thing, they try to steal. They've stolen everything from me. They've stolen my whole life. But anyways, I'm having pretty severe foot pain. I did have plantar heel spur fasciitis, whatever. And they told me in PT that they couldn't do anything for me. They tried the ultrasound. They did this and that. Who knows? Maybe it's technology working on it. So a little breathless today for some reason. Not getting adequate sleep. Of course, you can't lose weight. You can't function properly. Can't work full 40-hour week. Can't make enough money to pay your rent. Can't do all that if you're, on the struggle bus every day. I'm not sure for some reason. Just a really bad evening last night. Just didn't feel well when I came home. All of a sudden, just had a hard time sleeping. The targeting pigs are everywhere. So, but anyways, the foot's pretty bad today. I'm hoping it's not broken, like there aren't little chips in there that from trying to run on it and trying to push it a little bit. But we got to keep going. That's just what we have to do. I mean, I'm emotionally, if there's a word for being emotionally wounded, like to the point where there isn't a recovery, like kind of I don't know, this is what they do. They just emotionally and physically and in every way they can, they disrupt life. So today was a hard day because, you try to push yourself to try to find your happiness again, try to find your positivity, try to keep things on the right track. And they can't come and attack you in person or make it look bad, so they are such cowards and such psychos that they attack you from afar and they prove their total destruction. Trust me, this is going to be proved. I have 100% faith in this criminal program being exposed. Some of you don't get it, but some of you do. Some of you really get it. And once you really get it, I mean, you wonder how people like me have actually made it this far. I guess we just try to make light of the situation, if you will, try to sing, try to dance, try to make whatever happiness out of the situation we can. Because my life is now a concentration camp. It's pretty much what it is. And I can't help but think about people that I hear about who have committed suicide. I think of when people describe people as a nurse or a mother or a wife or somebody who has taken their life because of this program. I hate to see that happen, but I can assure you it is a vicious bitch. It is a downhill. I mean, I'm a tough gal. They don't pick the weak people to do this because the weak people don't survive the program. They're not as much fun to watch slow boil kill happen. They're not as much fun. We're more fun because seeing us, hobble and limp whenever we're trying to run, when we were once a runner, they love that. Seeing us poor and not being able to afford our home, and seeing dire strike in the bank account whenever you go to make your rent payment and it comes across as dire. I mean, that's whenever you know that, you really just don't have a fighting chance. The so-called good people support the bad guys, so they don't support your business. They don't support your, to try to help you out in any way. You might as well just die, dead, or find something else. So I've been trying to, do what God's plan is, which is to let you know what this program is. Because I've got nothing else. I'm stripped of everything else. This is the only thing that I know 24/7 that I can do, is to teach you about this. I would much rather not know this. I'd much rather live a normal life. That's not happening anymore. We really don't have a fighting chance. We really don't. I mean, we have prayers and we have God, and that's pretty much it, because man is useless. Man is hopeless in this situation. I'm sorry, but there may be a few rescuers out there, but they're pretty weak to me. I mean, I've been fighting this for a long time, and I'm pretty damn tough. But they know what they want with me. They're trying to take me out. So if you've got some suggestions, I'm all ears. Just send them over. Okay, so as you can see, these perpetrators are working full circle, and there was in addition to the battery in the car, they damage your home. They come in, they make dirt in piles in your home. I don't know if they take my insides of my vacuum cleaner and sprinkle it behind the chairs and, under this or under that. Because a lot of the times, uh, right after I clean, that's whenever I notice the excess amounts of dirt. And there is a label for why these Luciferians do this stuff to whom they put slashes in the floors, damage the carpeting, and it's way too much. Although it could look as if there's wear and tear in the home, although we have never had our home damaged in such a way where there's just slashes in the floors, and stuff like that, like big chunks taken out of the floors. It just doesn't make any sense. One of the coping strategies that I was thinking of sharing, that I forgot to mention in that other video or other audio, was to just kind of name things, like try to downplay the situation if you are being targeted as a coping strategy. Like, just be like, oh, there goes Popeye again. Or like if you're not sure if the person is stalking you or following you or whatever, there goes Wally. He's up to his, tactics again. He's, try to learn ways of making it almost comical. I know this sounds completely, off the walls, um, insane. But this is the only way that you can kind of get through this is if you kind of downplay what they're doing. Um, they have, for me, they have permanently, this is important to note here, they have permanently wrecked and instituted emotional damage. Now, maybe we could call this like, I mean, if it's not human trafficking, if it's not Havana syndrome, we could maybe call it battery, or we could call it. I wonder what kind of crime we could, how many crimes we can uh, uh, place emotional, psychological abuse under, because the courts don't seem to recognize this as such, and I think that we need to make that a priority because once they've seemed to have instituted that, they have backed off of me somewhat significantly. Although sometimes that happens where it dies down and then it picks back up again, and I'm still being watched pretty heavily. Whether that be neural monitoring, and that's against your rights too. If they've planted cameras in my house and I'm not here, obviously, if they're coming in and they're destroying my home while I'm not here, stealing my things, this and that. Um, taking food, replacing stuff with other stuff. I mean, they even take my ballpoint pens. It's kind of odd, batteries, you name it. So then, of course, I'm spending small amounts of money, over and over again, which adds up to be a lot after a year's time, after 9 years' time. Um, Now, I've got about one video. I know this is a little long, and I apologize for that. Uh, I was just trying to let you see kind of when I'm just in a normal moment, how things kind of play out. And, there's plenty of times when you can notice the anxiety in somebody's voice. Even when I set out for a walk or a jog, I usually have a lot of people out and about who may be part of the targeting program who kind of set my anxiety off a little bit. So I usually have to try to figure out a way to kind of get myself in the right mindset before I leave the house. It's also a very good thing. Don't leave your house in fear. Um, I believe in that as well. I have heard that from other mentors. Um, and we have got about one video to 100. Now, listen, guys, I am behind. It's December 8th. I am a cookie baker at Christmas time. I love to give out cookies. So I really need to focus on healthy things. Also, another thing to mention, I'm really working on trying to watch a full movie, which is like homework from other mentors who are targeted to watch a full movie. Sometimes I can do it and sometimes I can't. I like the Christmas movies, even though the Hallmark ones are a little bit of hogwash. They still are happy, and they bring about, joy and cheer and, the holiday season, the reason behind it. So that's another way of trying to get you to focus and cope. I try to do things in 20-minute increments, read, just go out and do a chore, clean out the car or, decorate or wrap some presents or just try to focus. Those things are very difficult for me to do. Um, but I try to make a little checklist and check them off as I go. Now I've got one more video to get to 100. Please let me know if you are listening, what you would like to hear me talk about. If I can eventually figure out how to do this as a video, I might do that. But I need to kind of take some time to um, concentrate on some other things that are a little bit happier. Thank you for listening.